the sound? Is everything okay?
Yeah, okay by me.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm still using the same equipment as last time we had the audio issues. So I think it might have just been the connection issue. I'm currently in a quarantine hotel in Jakarta, and the internet's been pretty funky, to say the least. But I'm glad that everything seemed, all the calls that I've had so far have been fantastic. So just wanted to double check with you guys. Just give it a quick minute or two. I'll post a quick message now and just give us a couple of seconds. Awesome, fantastic. Where to begin? We are a few days from launch. Everything's going fantastic despite the kind of delays we had on my personal side. The development team is absolutely ecstatic. Everyone's pretty excited to start getting some live user data through the app. We're just kind of going through final branding guidelines for the application. So we've basically redesigned the website a couple of weeks ago. We've got all that sorted out with the wireframes. We're just literally adding in some animations and stuff just to make it a bit more, snazzy, really, just to make it look good. We told you guys that it was very important from day one that we get the brand messaging out. So the white paper is being finalized. The graphic designers already made some graphics and diagrams for it. So we're just kind of making text fit to paper, if you will. But to be honest, what I'm more concerned about is the technology of it. Everything is going swimmingly. No game-breaking bugs, so to speak. So I'm really looking forward to posting it up, having you guys jump in, make an account, see what you think. What we'll probably try and do is give you guys like a bit of a sneak peek before we actually open it to the public. So we'll give you like a 24-hour period so you guys can let us know what you think. And then we'll open it up to the public essentially. We are going to limit signups for the first week or two. We don't want to overwhelm the system. The best way to do stress testing is essentially to scale up. So we're only going to be opening it probably to a few thousand users and see how we go. But everything's on target. I mean, there's nothing to be concerned about, which is fantastic. A few days before launch. Normally at this stage, we're always trying to. I mean, don't get me wrong. The development team is still in crunch. There's a few things that we need to finish off, but there's nothing project delayed, nothing scary, I should say. The amount of times I've been involved in a project and things have just been rushed out because it's quick to go to market. But it's very important for us that since we're working with user funds, that everything works from day one. There's been a few people that have reached out and mentioned something about Humble, saying those guys did some Photoshop UIs or something, which honestly I'm not really that familiar with, but that's definitely not the case here. We've been working on this for quite a while now. This hasn't just been rushed out in a week or two. So I'm just really excited to get this out there in the hands of the people, pretty much. Especially with all this anti-USDT sentiment, people are starting to discuss more about rug pulls, and everyone's starting to see the dangers essentially of what an unregulated financial space can do. So when you look at the power of DeFi, can make people financially independent, we're essentially going to be bringing a new order of financial education. If you think about North America or Europe as a potential market, think about the power that underbanked people are going to have in Latin America, or Southeast Asia, or the Middle East, or Africa. Not only are we going to be educating people on how to use our products and everything else, but think about the potential of new users. Those markets that they can open up to. It's absolutely phenomenal and just completely untapped potential. There are products out there in the marketplace like that we've spoken to, like South Africa and Time Bank, for example, N26 in Europe, other kind of virtual neobanks. And again, we're not aiming to compete with these guys. We're aiming to complement. It's a very tough space to break into, and we're hoping that coming from the side of regulation, it's going to be able to open doors for a lot of these other kind of neobanks and virtual banks that want to get involved in crypto, but maybe they're a bit concerned about future regulation and stuff. So I'm just really, really excited at this stage. I mean, obviously there's a lot of work to do, but I guess being quarantined in a hotel room is the best place to do it, eh? So before I just jump into, maybe actually I should read some of the questions that you guys have posted. And then if there's anything that you guys want to know more about, we'll come back to that after. Just in case any questions are asked that have already been written. Okay. So, Bill, my question is, what's the marketing strategy to reach areas you are targeting, using partners, platforms, social media, etc., and also the process of how the bank can get their fiat exchange for USDV? Okay, great. So the marketing strategy and the method of getting unbanked from fiat into, kind of the crypto space, kind of revolves around one simple solution. This is working with domesticated partners. So that means that USDV, is not beholden to looking at strategies for every single region. We just have to find a good quality regulated fiat on and off ramp. And then we essentially put the onus on them to handle the promotion on their side. So we essentially work with one partner exclusively if it's large enough and we can expect a large amount of TVL, or we work with essentially, a bunch of different smaller partners to get it into hands of people. The main thing that we're focused about is users. We're basically giving them a tool. We're not telling people they have to use, USDV. We're not telling people that we are the only solution. There are other solutions out there. They might not be good. They might not be as regulated. We're pretty confident that once people see they can do everything in, our application compared to, 10 different applications, it's going to make life much easier. Because obviously you have retail to, essentially you have B2C, C2C, B2B, they've all got different pathways and channels. They've all got different amounts of volume and different types of trades. Some people don't care about international payments. Some heavily rely on international payments. I, for one, essentially being a digital nomad for most of my life, I find it very difficult, or used to find it very difficult, to accept money from different clients or pay freelancers in different countries, sending funds abroad. It's a very huge problem. The fees that you used to have to pay are phenomenal, almost robbery, to be honest, because there wasn't that many options. Now as fintech has increased in innovation, it's gotten much easier. Regulation still hasn't really changed though. We're going to see a huge amount of regulation coming to the crypto space over the next year or two, without a doubt. I mean, we can see the articles. We've got billionaires talking about getting rug pulled. We've got people caring more now about what backs their cryptocurrency. Why is it valuable? I mean, I think the discussion around NFTs were a perfect example. I mean, that craze went on for, NFTs have been around since 2016, but the craze only lasted, what, 4 or 5 months, maybe a quarter. People paying $60 million for, random pieces of art. We saw Lindsay Lohan making pixel art and selling it as an NFT. But then people started to ask, well, why is it valuable? People put in news articles or random pictures or memes on an NFT. And then people are saying, well, why is it, I don't own this meme, it's out there, where's the value come from? So I think it's opening a big discussion on where do we go with crypto from here. I've always been a big believer in regulation, not just to keep people's users safe, but also to keep projects accountable. And I think that's what a lot of projects are missing. If someone kind of abuses the system, it's very easy for a project team to just say, well, it wasn't us, and just kind of walk away from it. So I think we're going to see a huge amount of financial education as well, as people start to realize, the huge potential that these kind of DeFi and P2P fintech services can offer, but also to make it more accessible to these people. Everyone's walking around with a supercomputer in the pockets these days, and that's evident to people in Africa that earn less than $500 per month. So we've got this huge potential. The market seems to be ready. So we're very confident that once we put this service in the hands of people, that we're going to see rapid user growth. So essentially, the plan to adopt these users is to work with these regulated partners on the ground. We're not going to be forcing people to use it. We're just going to present them with the best option, and people are going to see the benefits. So in terms of the social media and the other platforms and stuff, yeah, so that kind of process of people process of how the bank can get their first exchange for USDV. Yeah, so with these regulated partners, they're going to be handling a lot of the financial and banking regulations, money transmission licenses, etc., on the ground. We ourselves are not experts at deploying. It's very easy for us to go to a company and pay them several $100,000, but that doesn't really get us anywhere. We're not trying to take over the market. We're trying to complement the market. We're trying to improve the ecosystem as a whole. And once other businesses and partners see that we benefit them and see the value that we bring to them, I mean, we've seen it before. Partners are starting to come to us and say, hey, how do we become part of this ecosystem? How can we provide your services to our users? So social media and stuff, that's going to be all handled by the partners on the ground, whether it's, I don't really want to mention names at this stage, but whether it's partners in South Africa or Brazil, Latin America, or other partners across Southeast Asia, most of the responsibility is going to be on those partners to promote. So obviously we're going to have branding guidelines and methods and stuff that they have to do, and user numbers they have to keep. It's not just going to be essentially a free-for-all. But most of this is going to be available in the white paper in a few days. Oh, wow, didn't give us a few. Okay, number one. Staking works just like on any other crypto exchange platform. Deposit fiat via transfer, wire ACH, etc., from bank account to the VMNT platform. That's correct, yeah. So you can either use cryptocurrency that you already have to exchange. I think we're going to be looking at a couple of DEXs. For one, I think we're all actually a little bit concerned about a lot of the potential for people to abuse the system. Again, USDV is not a shitcoin. It is a fiat-backed stable coin. There's several reasons for that. So if someone, for example, was to abuse the system, and get like a 10-to-1 exchange on a DEX, it wouldn't be a major problem, but it would definitely cause some hassle, and it would be a problem that we need to fix. I, for one, don't gamble. I've never played in a casino. I take very calculated risks. I don't even play the lottery or scratch cards unless someone bought it for my birthday or something. So I'm always erring on the side of caution, especially when it comes to user funds. But essentially, yes, you can either use cryptocurrency to exchange for USDV through the platform, or you can send a wire ACH from your bank account, to essentially exchange for USDV, and then you stake, and then you, essentially earn the interest that way. The distribution of the rewards are going to be handled by, a partner or a third party. This is to avoid a couple of regulation issues. But yeah, that's correct. The first statement from Din. Are there any in-country bank transfer restrictions that apply? Are we able to transfer funds from any bank account to the platform? Yes. I mean, technically, it doesn't matter which bank account. Excuse me. It technically doesn't matter which bank account. The current partner that we use in North America can accept 150 different currencies, fiat currencies. So that kind of doesn't really matter on where you are in the world. We can work with you in some way. Obviously, we don't work with OFAC countries, but any country that has a pretty good standing with the United States is essentially open to work with us from that side. Once we have partners on the ground, maybe they're plugged into some, parachain like Polkadot, or maybe they're working with another kind of global cryptocurrency like Stellar. It will be relatively easy for us to accept funds much easier and faster. But from the get-go, 150 plus countries are essentially able to work with this platform. First thing problem is web-based. Is there an app? There is an app. We're not going to be pushing that out just yet. We need to scale that because around the world there's hundreds of different versions of mobile software, and then there's thousands of different versions of phones. It's very important that we want this to work from the get-go. So we don't just want to rush this out and then have loads of problems to deal with, because what happens if we scale across South America, for example, and then we have 10 different bugs across 15 different types of mobile phone, and then of those 15 different types, there's 30 different bugs relating to different versions of the software. So this is one of the reasons why we want to scale up quite efficiently, so that we can focus on basically, as we scale successfully. We're not throwing ourselves in a corner of having to decide which bug is more important. The way we see it is every single individual user is just as important as every single institutional investor. Every single customer is important. So when we're dealing with user funds, it's extremely important that we show them that we do care about individual use cases. So the web app is most likely, if things go fantastic and we have huge demand, we could probably scale up the dev team and get the mobile native app up and running at the end of this year. Realistically, we'll probably be pushing it out next year sometime, maybe Q2, but that's not confirmed or anything. This is all kind of just speculation, really, because I don't want the dev team to be shaking their head to come back and tell them that I promised something. But yeah, for now it is web-based, but it doesn't dismiss mobile-only users. The web-based app is dynamic and responsive. It can work. So this also means that we only have to worry about bugs coming from one or two browsers. We don't have to worry about thousands of different combinations between phones and mobile and stuff. And it's very easy to just drop a link on the homepage of your mobile desktop, on the home screen, a link that basically just pushes it straight out. So it's very easy to do that. So web-based for a variety of reasons. Is there a minimum staking period? So yeah, we've really been looking about 30 days as kind of a minimum period. We are expecting realistically about a 90-day to a generous return or a decent return. So we'll probably have to just see how it goes, really. See how long it takes for us to, because there's no point in offering a 30-day if we're only going to get like a 0.2% return, right? There's a lot more work that goes into reclaiming a liability that's been issued in 30 days. But if you give an entity 90 days or 120 days, we get to charge a higher fee. Essentially users can earn a higher fee, and it gives the company more room to scale. So there is going to be a minimum staking period. We're not going to be able to offer, at least for now, some sort of autonomous perpetual yield just by simply holding it. Because say for example we generate a liability, and then someone tries to withdraw a lot of that. They would have to sacrifice the interest, which kind of defeats the purpose of staking. And they wouldn't have a generous return. So it kind of just defeats the purpose of it. We're not trying to be a 100% decentralized autonomous project. We're essentially trying to pull capital from a centralized market and distribute it in a decentralized way. We're trying to pull the best of both worlds. A lot of the DeFi projects, we've all seen the damages that margin traders, especially in cryptocurrency, the damage that they can do to markets, right? And people are starting to realize that now, that over leveraging is not, sometimes not the best idea. So a lot of these projects, when they give you the funds in shit coins, it's basically, it's backed by air. There's nothing there. I think I've said in an earlier call, if someone, say for example, some shitcoin is offering 100% APY, by the time you go to cash out that token, the only people that want to buy it, are people that highly speculative. Most of the people are trying to sell because that's the interest they've earned. So it might look like you have 100% APY on paper, but by the time you cash out, it's more like 2 or 3%. We're trying to pull capital from a capital market, from a long-term, reliable method. We're just using decentralized, finance technologies to offer this to underbanks around the world. The amount of time before you can unstake, destake, collect principal plus interest. Yeah, so I just answered that. There is going to be a minimum staking period. The USDV staking fee will be minimus, so it doesn't subtract from the yield stake. That's correct, yeah. So we essentially withdraw the operation fee from before we distribute to users. So what users see is what they'll essentially get. Minting redemption. 1-to-1 ratio of USD to USDV. Yeah, so it's probably not going to be 1-to-1 ratio because we do have to distribute. We do have to distribute some of the fiat back in to generate the return, right? But when someone withdraws, it's always going to be 1-to-1 back. Like, there won't be the chance that you withdraw directly from us and it's going to be like, X amount or whatever on the dollar. Obviously there's going to be a fee involved, but it's just pretty much a 1-to-1 fiat backed stablecoin. So when the time comes for a user that wants to withdraw, it's going to be 1-to-1. So if they have 100 USDV, they're going to get 100 USD, minus the platform fees. Is that progress algorithmic? In other words, is the stablecoin algorithm responsible for expanding? No. So it's not an elastic stablecoin. We're not operating with like an elasticated supply. These are very complex systems. A lot of it is theoretical. It's some of it has good theory. It definitely makes sense in some parts of the world, like Venezuela or Zimbabwe, where the government just continuously prints money. But that's not what we're working with right now. Yeah, we're not working with elasticated supply. There's too much room for error. We're not, not really in the business of gambling. We're in the business of essentially providing a quality service. If I stake USD for USDV via the platform, VMNT's VDA trust partner holds the USD, so it's FDIC insured. So any fiat that is held within the account is FDIC insured. VMNT mints USDV and lends it out via a collateralized loan to its partner companies. The partner companies fund. The partner companies fund the individual/business loan. However, the individual or entity wants the funds, local fiat currency, Bitcoin by exchange.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
So Warren, just a little bit about myself. I've been a trader for a while, about 6 years or so. I'm doing all right. And one thing I really liked while you were speaking was you said something along the lines of that the institutional investors and the retail users, you value them both the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I wanna share an idea with you that you're likely to get, but management would have a hard time understanding, which is my goal, all right, is for this platform and this program and the stable coin to go viral, be meme, whatever. I want the masses to use it, the everyday user to use it. So I want to explain this to you, and you can possibly share that idea with Tan and the rest of the team. And I think you'll get it because I just feel like the way you're speaking, this is my first time entering this audio chat. I feel like you'll get it. So our stock is in the OTC, all right? If the stock is at a $1 price, all right? Majority of the folks that trade OTC stocks like to buy stocks that are literally 1-2 cents or below, okay? no matter what we do, I mean, there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of traders, Warren. If we can get a forward split in our stock, what a forward split is basically, however many shares you have, you multiply it by whatever the forward split is. I say we do a 1 to 100, and our price will come down to 1 penny. Okay, 1 penny. This is where we're going to attract a whole lot of people. They'll be able to download the app. Our dollar volume is going to go up, meaning the price goes up, whatever the market goes up, whatever. But what this is going to do is going to get everyday people to know and learn about our stock, intended of family members and friends. If we're at $1, $5, we're not going to get those people. See, majority of the people don't have a lot of money. They work a regular job and they want to find a real company, See, I've been in the game for a while, and most of these companies, 90%, like they're shit coins. Most of these stocks are shit stocks. They're a complete scam. They change their theme with the way the wind blows. You know, Bitcoin this, oil this, whatever's hot. And I know this is a real company because, well, you know, I did my homework, and Tan hasn't sold any shares in the last 3 quarters. He would have made over $1.5 million. Legally, he can sell, but he didn't sell any. So I really like that. I've thrown a lot of money in this company. I've broken all rules to keep this alive. What I'm saying, sir, is I can send you a link later. Learn what a forward split is. We're going to get thousands of new shareholders wanting to buy. They can download the app. And that happens, man, I want to invest in the stable coin just so I'm not holding dollars. I'm holding that stable coin. And I personally feel most folks in here would agree with me. And if you have any questions on how the message would spread and how this would be good for the stock and the project you're working on, please ask me, sir.
Sure, it's definitely something that we can talk about. Some of you might not like to hear it, but my concern really isn't about the stock. You know, my knowledge about the company direction stuff is, you know, rather limited. My focus is 100% on USDV and getting this platform out there. So I might not be.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to cut you off. What I'm trying to say is, if we can get this thing right, the price comes down, we're going to attract everyday people, and they're going to learn about the project, and then they're going to share it. I'm talking about, look, man, if we got something real, the price is going to go up, big money's going to come in. I don't care about that. Okay, here's the deal. I'd rather have 1,000 people that invest $1,000 each in a stable coin, which would be $1 million, then I'd rather have one person invest $1 million in the company. Or I'd rather have one person invest $2 million versus 1,000 people invest $1,000, because those 1,000 people are going to tell a whole bunch of other people, and they're all potential investors. I'm going for numbers rather than an institutional investor. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not talking about the stock price. Hey, Warren, make the stock price go up. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about attracting more people to the project. It's just a strategy I'm sharing.
Sure. No. I definitely share your sentiment. I'm always a big believer in essentially retail investment. And this is one of the reasons why I'm personally very confident that USDV is, you know, going to make some headlines as soon as we launch. I just want to quickly go. I mean, we're more than happy to pick this discussion back up in the group. No, it's all right, mate. It's an open discussion. You know, people, if you've got any thoughts they want to share, feel free. I just want to quickly get through some of the questions that we've already been typed, and then we can come back to that certainly afterwards. But thank you. I really appreciate it, Brooke. Really do. I just want to come back to Din's comment. I think it's more of a statement, really. He's just kind of confirming the process of how people get USD into USDV and the minting process. It's pretty much on point. We essentially take the reserve, we distribute it to entities that Vemanti has a large stake in, or essentially, you know, at least a board seat that we can be in control of the repayment. Later on, you know, we may open this up to new legal entities that have, you know, other revenue channels. But especially in the first, you know, beginning stages, we want to focus on entities that we have a direct link to make sure that these funds are claimed pretty much. So Din's also mentioned phase 2 will be developing USDV and other local currencies, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, this is correct. So we are going to be looking at essentially generating a basket of different, Vemanti stablecoins, yen, British pound, sterling, et cetera. One of the reasons for this is obviously to make it more accessible in terms of payments and remittance. If you look at the way, TransferWise are kind of operating. But another reason is that we are essentially able to internally arbitrage between these different currencies. So there's another option for monetization for USDV stakeholders. And then question 2, general business development. Now that we're OTCQB approved in the SEC, please share with us the roadmap to the extent possible, post USDV launch, etc. New non-USDV projects, segment acquisitions, etc. All of this is going to be available with the white paper, so you guys can learn about where we're headed. So I don't really want to say too much right now. I know people are, consistently asking me. I'm always a bit cautious about what I can and cannot share. This is one of my first opportunities directly interacting with you shareholders, and I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get the company in trouble. I don't want to get you guys in trouble. So all I ask is please be a little bit more patient. We're only a few days away. So more than happy to anything that's already published, I can expand on in great detail. Okay, Euroin. Oh, sorry, mate. Thank you. Any questions? Scroll down. Okay, Gabrielle, question about the possible DeFi platform from Vemanti. Do you intend to have the CertiK audit on the platform? Okay, good question. So the underlying ERC20 is already audited by QuantStamp, CertiK, I believe, and possibly Halborn. So we won't be actively seeking a full audit. We will be seeking pen test and security audits on other versions of USDV that come out, because obviously we want to distribute this on as many protocols as possible. So, we are looking at, Binance Smart Chain, Stellar, Tesla. We are speaking to a few of them really to see which is most applicable, which has the most reach, the most active use case, operating in regions that we really think have huge potential. So when it comes to that stage, which is probably going to be a few months after launch, we will be looking at different companies. One of the issues that we have with CertiK is that they're essentially an audit farm. You'll notice, if you do a quick Google, you'll see a few problems that they have. They seem to have tightened up a lot more. They seem to have brought their standards back up. So it's definitely on the table. But currently the ERC20 has been audited multiple times. So we won't be seeking an individual, there's no point in doing work that's already done. The smart contract is available for people to review themselves. It's going to have Vemanti branding on it, so people can review and know it's a Vemanti product. So it should be a little bit easier to deter people that are trying to clone the brand and, basically do nefarious things with it. So we've already got security audits, and it is going to have Vemanti branding embedded within the smart contract. So people can confirm, not just by the smart contract token address, the Genesis block, or even on the blockchain explorer. It's going to be much easier for non-technical people to confirm, basically. What's the price target? Price target for USDV is $1. It's always going to be $1. In terms of price target for the stock, unfortunately, I can't speculate or anything like that. On what date will we have an official white paper from Vemanti? Okay, so before the end of June. Launch date for everything is end of June. There's no delays on anything. So yeah, just a white paper Wednesday. Yeah. I mean, end of June, whenever that would be. Sorry, Rich, were you just asking questions then regarding the forward split and stuff? I'm not too sure who was asking questions. I couldn't see.
Sir, it's not a question about a forward split. It's not a question. My point is to show you the value that would come from a forward split for the project. It's not about the price, man. I'm an investor in this company. I don't give a damn. I have enough money. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to get mass adoption. I'm trying to get as many everyday Joes, everyday people, boys and girls, to talk about this. That's what I want. I want this to be talked about on every forum, YouTube video, Twitter. I want it to be everywhere. How do you do that? Most people are broke. They don't have a lot of money. They're buying scam turd stocks like scam shit coins. So we're the only real one, dude. I'm telling you. We're in the form of not a stable coin. I'm talking about we're the only fucking real company in the world, all right? In the OTC market, in that low market cap that isn't a scam. If whatever, launch whatever you want to launch it. If we're at the current price, all right, folks aren't looking at a dollar. They're looking at a stock that's at a penny. That's all they want. That's all they can afford. They want 100,000 shares for $1,000, or they want 1 million shares for $10,000 at a penny, and they want the stock to go to $1. This is the psychology of the market. This is the masses. This is why scammers can run scams on YouTube and sell courses. It's just psychology. What I'm trying to say is save the average day Joe. All right, you're gonna save so many lives. We get this done, right? We're gonna get so many everyday people to download our app and start using it, get a 2.5 to 10%, 30% return, whatever. All right, but we're gonna get everyday people. You know, America is the melting pot. We got people from all over the world here. You know, Latin America, plenty, Central America, Southeast Asia, plenty of them out here. If they download this, they're going to talk to their family members or friends. They're likely to do it. You know, if some young child learns about this company, all right, he's going to tell his parents, "Oh, look, Dad, I just found a lottery." Now they're going to say, "Oh, well, it's this, that, whatever." But the thing is, more people are going to talk about this company and the project. That's what I'm trying to say.
The only two things that I can see from a retail investor concern really is, one would be financially educating people on a stock market, you know, convincing them about penny stocks, you know, and then you've also got to convince them of the potential of the stock to rise in value and stuff. The second one would be heavy KYC and limited markets for these people to enter. A lot of these people don't even have a bank account.
Warren, I believe, sir, I believe you're misunderstanding me. I am speaking about the current traders that already trade. I'm not talking about the unbanked or the people that are extremely poor. I'm not talking about them, or they're not extremely poor, but they don't have the opportunity. I'm not talking about those folks. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of traders that are poor, as in they don't have a lot of capital. You know, they work a regular job and they're trying to make money, so they're investing. They're already traders. I want them to learn about our project. How do we get them to learn about our project? We get them to learn about our project by being in their price range first. You know what I'm saying? I want them to use the platform. I want them to download the app. I want them to look at that. So I'm trying to recruit numbers, not the folks that are, I'm not talking about the customers you want to reach that are unbanked. I am talking about a whole different sector that has some money to trade, right? Or they have a lot or they have little money, but they're traders already. So the thing with traders is, if they can find out that capital can be made, word's going to spread like fire. So if they find out about a real company, see, most NASDAQ companies are scams. Sadly, they're scams. Most of them are in debt, this, that, whatever. We're not. That's what makes us special, meaning the company you're working with, Team Tan, he's honest. So what I'm trying to say is, if we can get all the traders out there to talk about our stock, right? It's not about, oh, the stock price is going to go up. No, it's about the project, for them to download the app, learn about it. Maybe they'll put, you know, if they have 100,000, they'll put 10,000 on the project. They get 5% return or whatever. But it's more about the platform you guys are launching, that having more numbers from people that are already in the game.
Sure. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not the best person. I'm not the best person to kind of absorb this, but, you know, feel free to write a statement in the group. I'll send it to Tan. He definitely knows way more, you know, about where the company's going.
Yes.
And definitely more stuff about this.
I see. The thing is, Warren, I've done that. I thought maybe you would I got you, man. Thanks, man. Sounds good.
No,
I'll be listening.
it's all right. I'm very interested in hearing more. I just don't want to.
I
I just
understand. I understand.
yeah.
I'll get your email, buddy. I'll get your email. Thank you.
Sure, man. Sure. I mean, my focus really is empowering, the billions of people in these poor regions that they have a mobile phone, but they don't have a bank account. And without the bank account, they don't have access to a lot of these services, like being able to purchase stock. Maybe that's something that we could include, in the
Yeah.
platform at a later date.
Right.
But
So,
the
I'm sorry.
sorry.
I just feel like there's a misunderstanding. My thing is, I completely agree. What you guys are doing is amazing. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I just whatever your ultimate goal is, I want that to be accomplished faster. And I feel like if we can get more people involved instead of a few institutional investors, if we can get a lot of retail investors by the thousands involved, the word will spread faster. And I see it's somewhat difficult to understand, but that's the point I want to get across to management. That's all. It's not about the stock price, man. That's not what I'm talking about. I want the project to do good. That's all, sir. That's
No worries, mate. I'm all for new ideas. Anyone that's got any concepts or anything that can help the project go viral and get more eyes on it, get more downloads, get people interacting, and just even seeing the benefits, of what we're putting in their hands. I am all for it. But feel free to write a statement in the group. I'll push. I'll make sure that it's heard and understood. I'll give you guys feedback on what Tan says and these kind of things. And maybe we could even start a discussion between everyone else. Maybe there's some people here that disagree. Maybe they've got some thoughts or they want to share or anything. But feel free to use the group as essentially a drawing board. Anyone that's got any concepts, I'm literally all ears. Just tag me in the comment. And I'll make sure that I read every single tag. I promise you. I think that was all the questions that was written down. Maybe there's some more. Speaking of apps, is it going to be ready to go by the end of the month, or is that still a beta tester waiting for approval by Google Apple? So we're actually using a web app. The reason for this is it allows us to scale much more rapidly, so we can determine where the largest user base is coming from. It's much more secure because we're only working with like 1 or 2 browsers. We don't have to be concerned with, iOS versus Android. There's people in Africa, for example, that are still using Symbian. So having a browser access is much more efficient for those kind of regions. There's literally dozens of benefits as to why we're using a web app over a native mobile app. So we're not going to be, I wouldn't expect that to be, maybe the end of the year, but I don't really want to promise anything. It's doable. If we have, several 100,000 users demand a native mobile app, then that's definitely something that we could roll out. But right now, the focus is on the web app to make it much more accessible to people. A milestone for every project is 1 million users. That's when you really start to get taken seriously in VC circles and stuff. So that's really the main goal for us. Mass adoption is what Richie's talking about. Gotcha. Okay, we can come back to this discussion for sure. I really don't want to dismiss anyone. I definitely am all ears, without a doubt. We do need TikTokers and YouTube influencers. We've spoken to a couple of agencies in Vietnam and Africa. We've already got some kind of like mainland Chinese KOL people. Mainland Chinese, maybe not just investors, but mainland Chinese users, some of them are paying like $50,000 a year for a US bank account. We're essentially offering that, for pretty much free. We just have to, essentially accept the payment, and we can accept, yuan and renminbi. So being able to have mainland Chinese users is, at this stage, very accessible, unless the Chinese government decides, like the PRC decides to ban it. But right now, mainland Chinese users are able to sign up to the platform, process KYC, and start using the application. So we've already got a couple of mainland Chinese KOLs on board, because what we want to try and do is, particularly in that region, is we want to scale up quite fast and rapid before we kind of get any domestic regulation eyes on us. Some going possibly. We are definitely looking at some good KOLs. Great. So we're getting a discussion. This is fantastic. Smart contracts, Neil. Sorry, mate. Are you asking about our smart contract or? Okay. Right now, the only pushback we see from certain governments are going to be those with heavy capital constraints. So Bangladesh, Russia, China. We already can't work with OFAC countries. And I'm pretty sure Russia is on the OFAC list, or there's some parts of Russia or some entities that are on the OFAC list. So anything, I mean, the OFAC list is the best kind of baseline. If a country is on the OFAC list, we're not able to work with them. And if it's heavy capital constraints, that's also going to be a bit of a challenge. We do already have, well, we are in discussions with one partner in Bangladesh. It involves some pretty tricky stuff with making sure the Bangladesh TACA remains onshore. Kind of a similar situation we've got with Vietnamese dong. But obviously, Vietnam is probably a bit more capitalistic than they care to admit. So getting money into Vietnam is very easy, but getting money out is difficult. So being able to provide a service, a very reasonable service, and this is one of the reasons why we're speaking to some neobanks, is because we want to be able to help these move liquidity between different countries. APTY stablecoin Spera. Well, there you go. White paper dates from 2018 already, but no coin yet. That to me just says they were trying to ride the hype from the ICO craze, and then they just kind of didn't go anywhere. Sorry, Neil. If you have like a specific question about our smart contract, more than happy to delve into it a little bit more. So the first smart contract we're going to issue an ERC20. This is mostly just for accessibility between MetaMask and Trust Wallet, and the infrastructure is already in place. People are very familiar with the tools for an Ethereum based smart contract. Then we're going to be kind of pushing out to more different protocols. I mentioned a few before, like Stellar with the global Stellar Anchor kind of network they've got. Tezos really because there's I don't want to say a lack of transactions, but it's essentially a free chain. So it allows us to make transactions much more speedily, less gas fees, this kind of stuff. Binance Smart Chain, dependent on a few things, if we can get some decent support from them. Because one of the benefits, obviously, we have is being US regulated. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but Binance.us and Binance.com are two separate entities. So you'll find that some projects listed on Binance.us, Binance.com are not listed on Binance.us for regulatory reasons. USDV essentially being a stable coin that's very trustworthy. We've got the AOK thumbs up from a few regulatory bodies. So being able to be issued on both platforms is definitely a bonus for Binance, for example. Hey, Salvatore. Everything's on schedule. End of month, end of June. So 1st of July pretty much is when it's going to go live, but end of June is when everything's going to be wrapped up. This is just really to give us a clean month. There's no particular reason why it's been delayed. It's just really to wrap up some loose ends, just to give us a kind of solid deadline. These smart contracts are probably, sorry mate, one sec. These smart contracts are probably going to get published today. Once I've got the all clear, I'll be able to post them in the group. It might be evening your time. It's currently 1:51 for me. So if I get it in a few hours, I'll be able to share it earlier than later. But yeah, I've been told it's going to be published today. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
Warren, one question. You mentioned some time ago that you already have some agreements, partnerships with banks. I know you cannot disclose names now, but can you tell us if these are traditional banks or digital banks or both?
It's a mixture of both. So traditional banks are very important for domestic regions because obviously we want to remain compliant. We also want to make sure that any kind of legacy financial rails that we operate with already have a solid infrastructure. Neobanks and virtual banks are very good at reducing costs by not having retail branches, for example. But they also sit in a very gray area. Maybe not in like some Western countries, but they kind of sit in the middle of regulation. So, for example, we're able to offer US-based finance accounts, but we don't require a US address or social security. So, we kind of sit in the middle there. So obviously working with some legacy banks gives us, a bit more confidence in being able to process not just the transactions, but being able to operate more efficiently. And then the neobanks and virtual banks, they give us more widespread ease of use, more use case. So it's definitely a mixture of both, for sure. Any official website URL? We do. I think some of you guys found the old website that the old website from several weeks ago that we were just not happy with at all. That's why we didn't share it with you. And then obviously after speaking to legal advisors and some consultants and stuff, I should say we've actually spoken to, or Tan spoke to, I should say, two very well-known advisors in the CBDC and stablecoin space. I, for one, am very excited. I've been following their work for the past few years. Obviously, my interest has mostly been on how do we make cryptocurrency more applicable? How do we move away from these kind of pyramid schemes and these shit coins and these tokens without any use case and dozens of ecosystems that are supposed to be working with each other? I, for one, have been really interested in how do we get governments to adopt blockchain technologies? So I am absolutely ecstatic that we've got two of these advisors on board. I'm very, very excited. So you guys will learn more about that in the next few days. But yeah, I actually can't believe it. When Tan told me that it was meeting them, I was like nearly fangirling. I was like, oh my god. So I'm really, really excited to announce those once we get like more of an official confirmation of their endorsement. But super excited. Are you involved in VNDC stablecoin too? PR with upcoming partnership. I don't believe so. I think we are looking at working with them on the VND side, like the domestic side. But we're speaking to dozens of other projects all around the world. So I don't really want to say anything that if we're working with them in an official capacity yet. But we have spoke to them about being able to handle essentially a USDV reserve on the Vietnam side. I think Stably did do some. I think Stably helped them with the initial smart contract a few years ago or last year, but I don't think they work together anymore. I think VNDC. I think VNDC broke away from them. Wicked. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to jump in. You can unmute your mic and shoot some questions. Or if we want to have more of a discussion on the thing that Rich was talking about before. VMNT with Stably, something happening. Yeah, we use Stably for some of the technological outsourcing, I guess. I don't know what you mean by something happening. I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, we have used Stably for some consulting work recently.
So, hi Warren. If you,
Hi, bud.
I just the point I'm trying to make is like Warren, how if you ever worked a regular job, right? And management just tells you, do this, 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 this. And you feel like management doesn't have a fucking clue on how the world, you know? You ever felt that way?
Of course, man. I think we've all been in those situations.
So I'm trying to share a perspective that I think no one's even thinking about, which is, so, okay, look, dude, there's traders, right, that have 100,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 300,000 followers. And all these followers aren't there for likes and, hey, look at my car and the girl I have and my lifestyle. No, they're all there to fucking make money, period. They want to succeed in life, right? And the thing about all these people is they're risking their own money and they're willing to lose their money to, you know, have a different lifestyle, whatever. So all these guys are extremely driven. These folks that are doing this, their whole family told them, don't do that. And they're still doing it, all right? And if you can recruit these guys on your side, you're going to shit on your competition, period. And how do you recruit them? How do you recruit these people? You get them to personally be invested in the company and become part owners in the company. Is that going to make the share price go up? Yes. You know, but I know you don't care about that. So that's fine. But what they're going to do is they're going to learn about the project you're working on. Instead of having 100 people, 30 participants, dude, we're going to have 3,000 people listening to you talk. All right.
To be honest, I wouldn't say that I don't care about it. It's just not my focus.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have poor choice of words. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to increase numbers in every way possible. May it be people that are banked, may it be people that are investors in the company, people just listening to it, people just doing YouTubes about it, whatever. I'm trying to get the numbers up in every sector, period. And I feel like the best way to do it is you recruit people that are driven, period. You can't buy them. You know what I mean? They're invested. You can't buy this kind of PR. You can spend $100,000 a month on a PR. You can never buy those people. They want to buy in. And all I'm saying
is that not the same concept as people adopting USDV and or a Vemanti stablecoin in whatever region, and then using that as payments?
No. So here's the deal. I'm an investor in this company. I'm automatically going to want to support the company, and I'll throw 10, 20,000, whatever, in the USDV just to pump the numbers up, have a savings account with you guys, whatever, right? That's me. Currently, we have a few hundred shareholders. Great. And they're all going to likely do that as well. But I want a few thousand. I want 10,000 people to do that, right? And then telling everybody else about it. I mean, it's difficult to explain this because you're not a part of this world. And people that are a part of this world, they don't get it for a long time. For many years, they don't get it, right? And most guys don't think like me, you know? I'm not trying to sound like egotistical or nothing, man. What the message I'm trying to share is have as many fans as possible that are going to talk about the company and spread the word about the project. And how do you get them? How do you get them is you have to go in their price range. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all, man.
To jump in on the back of Rich, I'm like one of the people he's talking about. So being young, a lot of these people are looking for ways to make money at a low price point to get in, because not everybody can buy Tesla and ride it up because it's so much per share price. But the way you get that mass adoption is by having these people buy low and spread it by word of mouth, by TikTok, by YouTube. These people are buying Shiba coin, which has no real company value behind it. If you get those same people to buy into this company and having a real company behind it, it can't fail. If you're not pushing those avenues, it's harder to grow exponentially, which in the end is beneficial for everyone. I think that's what Rich is trying to say.
Thank you, Kurt. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Personally, I totally get that angle. Basically, lowering the price point, making it more accessible. The only thing I can't really wrap my head around is essentially, people that are going to be buying at 1 or 2 cents, there's still barriers that they have to go through, right, to register an account, like with Saxo Trading.
Wait, Warren, let me stop you there, sir. We're not talking about people. We're only talking about people that already trade, Warren.
Yeah, he's talking about all these people on Twitter who are trying to find the next coin. Like, there's barriers of entry for Shiba coin, and everybody bought into that because of the Dogecoin thing.
But how many of those people would you say, exist as a realistic marketplace?
I'm sorry. What was your
honestly, I think that the number of those people have raised exponentially recently because of the whole trading boom and the whole pandemic, and people are trying to protect their capital, especially
make money from home and
exactly. So I think it's millions, honestly.
So what we're potentially talking about is billions of users essentially using USDV, untapped marketplace where these people don't have access to Robinhood and stuff.
Exactly, but you get to those billions even faster by
I get that.
These traders in now.
Warren, whatever your plan is, buddy, I want you to continue to do that. We're not stopping that plan. What the idea we're sharing is going to accelerate your plan. So our idea is not that, hey, somebody signs up for a stable coin and they can buy VMNT. No, no, that's not what it's about. We're talking about people that already trade for a living. We want them to buy our idea, our platform. We want them
you want me to ask Tan about a forward split? Is that what you're asking?
I've already gotten that message across to them. What I'm trying to do is see, this idea is a little difficult to comprehend. See how you're not completely understanding? They can't understand it at all because they live in a different world, all right? What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to have you understand. Whatever your plan is to make this platform amazing, this stablecoin amazing, cool, great. We're going to help you with that, right? What I'm trying to say is help me get another 1,000 of me that are passionate like me about the company. That's what I'm saying.
So what would be the drawbacks of...
There's no drawback, man. There is no drawback. See, the thing is, most companies can't do that. A reverse split is what most companies do because they're fucked. They don't have a choice. A forward split is opposite of that. Let's look at the companies that do a forward split. Apple, Tesla, I think that shopping store, I forgot what it's called, Shopify. I think they're going to do it. Big companies that are successful because their price goes up so much. If Apple is $1,000 a share, I mean, shit, most people don't even make $1,000 a week, right? But if they do a 1 to 10 forward split and their share price is at $100, then people can make $500 in a week and they can shares, right? So the same concept. People go to a 99-cent store. You go to a dollar store. Is there a store called everything $100? No, that's a horrible idea. People can't afford that. People want everything for $1. That's what I'm saying is everybody wants to stock at a penny, not at $1. Nothing changes. Nobody gets screwed over in the form of anything. I'm trying to make it cheap. I want the stock. It's a psychological.
But then what would happen to everyone's existing shares, essentially? Hello? Sorry, mate. Did I break up a bit?
So this is what happened.
Basically, we need a culture company like Apple makes that, or I don't know.
I think also what Rich is trying to say is necessarily companies aren't traded on their inherent value behind the surface. So like all these Doge coins, they're getting traded so heavily based on social psychology not based on actual company value. And if you can get people to trade on social psychology and have the company to back it, you win. I think that's basically what Rich is trying to say.
So the number of investors, like say for example, you guys already have
Can you guys hear
VMNT.
me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
Rich. You were
yeah.
just breaking up.
So the number of investors that already have shares with VMNT,
Warren,
if a forward split happens, those number of shares are just decreased in value. No existing investors lose.
No, you
Like
have
they
the
double
same
stuff.
value in the company. You
opposite.
just have more shares.
Gotcha. Yeah. So everyone's
Let me get
everyone's
this
share
for a
count
second.
increases.
So Warren, what happens is, so say I buy $1,000 worth of shares at $1, I have 1,000 shares. Are you with me?
Yeah. No, I'm familiar. I just really wanted to confirm. So if that happens, then and there's zero drawbacks, then why is that not happening? Why doesn't every company do this?
Exactly. See, the thing is, the reason other people can't do it is because other companies are scams and they do reverse splits and their share structure is already bloated. Our share structure is not bloated. And what happens is basically this is what happens. If somebody has 1,000 shares, they have 100 times the share. If we do a 1 to 100 forward split, they have 100 times the shares. Now they would have 100,000 shares, but the price would get divided by 100. So it's only at a penny. So the dollars you hold, right, in the form do not change. Just the share price changes and the number of shares change, but the value remains the same. And when we do this, now it's the stock's at a penny. This attracts other people. This attracts masses of people.
Yeah.
And that's just really good.
I'm not privy to the kind of I'm really not privy to that information from the Vemanti side. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tan has already considered doing this if it's a benefit for the company. But honestly, I don't really have enough information for me to kind of relay to you guys in that time of company direction. I mean, I'll bring it up during the next meeting. I'll see what he says, and if there's any comments worth sharing, I'll bring them back to you guys. But I really appreciate the discussion. Thank you very much.
One thing, Warren, one other thing, I don't know if maybe I lost it if they mentioned it, but I think that by attracting this target of people, you are not only attracting investors in the company, but also users. Because they will
I understand. Yeah, fully understand.
Shares, but invest in using USDV as well, and of course, spreading it all over the place. I think it's a win-win. All sides that you take a look, it's winning.
So basically, I totally understand what you guys are saying. Basically, the company has a very solid structure that makes it, a prime candidate for a forward split. There's no drawbacks to it. Most of the current investors will earn more shares. The price point is lowered to target the regions, that we're specifically targeting. India, South America, across Southeast Asia and the like. I honestly, I'm not the best person to say like this is a great idea or not. I'm guarantee it definitely would have come across Tan's mind at some stage. So I'll bring it up to him. I'll get some feedback and I'll bring it back to you guys to see what he says. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's if it's really
Warren,
zero drawbacks as you guys say, and it can bring more users to the platform, then obviously I agree with you guys.
We would like to share a link with you. I'll share a link with you. So the thing is, you don't want to talk about it if you don't understand it, then it just creates more confusion. And my point was to try and help you understand it. So it does nothing but have more people talk about the project. That's number one thing. More eyes, more users. That's number one. And these are everyday users that are in the space.
Sure, feel free to drop it in the chat.
Thank you for your time. Hey, thank you for being so minded.
No worries. Thank you guys for joining the call. I really appreciate hearing feedback from you guys, and I really appreciate the interest in the project. And honestly, I'm dying to share more information with you guys. Like, you don't understand. This has been a kind of long-term project for me to see it so close to the finish line. It really gets the heart racing.
Keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
Looks like there's some connection there. Yeah, we basically just rebranded for the PPT, just for graphics, really. It was just really to push it out there, build on the base, so to speak. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, anything that kind of brings more users and more eyes to the platform, like I'm 100% behind. It's honestly, I mean, I've spoken to dozens of CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies, and none of them really have forward-thinking vision as much as Tan. We started speaking about this like late last year, and then you can just see now that all of this kind of what do you call it? All of this kind of discussion around the USDT backing, all this rug pulls, calling for more regulation. Tan was definitely ahead of the game compared to a lot of other leaders that I spoke to. So I'm personally very lucky to be working directly with Tan.
Sounds good, bro. We're glad to have you on the team too. So.
Thank you, guys.
Man, we're part of the team, dude. We're investors, dude.
I without a doubt, I 100% consider you guys part of the team. I mean, one of the main reasons for the Telegram group was to have a more direct communication with you guys. I don't use Twitter that often because I've had people steal my identity in the past. I don't endorse projects, pretty much at all, because I'm always concerned, about the team, or I'm concerned about the promise to deliver, or kind of, some ulterior motive. So that's the main reason why I haven't been so public in the past, because there hasn't really been a good enough reason really to put myself out there. So this is, honestly, one of the first projects that I've been excited about, especially within cryptocurrency, since like 2015. Fantastic, guys. Has anyone got any more discussion points? Any other questions or anything that you want me to delve a little bit more on? More than happy to. I'm going to jump off in a sec, just because it's 2:15 a.m. I've got some 9 a.m. calls that I need to jump on. But while I'm here, if you guys have got anything else you want to discuss, more than happy to. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks. And I really appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to listen to me rant and give you some updates on the project and stuff. It really means a lot to hear your feedback and hear your thoughts and get a chance to speak to you directly, really. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Honestly, I am really dying to give you guys more information. I really am. Like, nothing would, as soon as I'm able to go out there and start speaking to news outlets and bloggers and stuff, like, oh, I honestly can't wait to be screaming and shouting about it. Thanks, Rich. I'm glad everyone found it fruitful. And feel free, if anyone's got any ideas or questions or comments, like, feel free to tag me in the Telegram group. I promise you I do get around to it. If I don't reply in 24 hours, just tag me again. I honestly don't mind if you ask the same question a few times. I really want you guys to feel like this. I don't want to use the term safe space, but I really want you guys to feel like this is an open discussion. Don't be discerned by. There's no, in my honest working opinion, is there's no such thing as a silly question. there's no such thing as a bad idea. There's an idea that works now, and there's an idea that works for something else. So by all means, feel free to just get involved. I'm more than happy to answer the same question. I'd rather someone ask, 1,000 silly questions than make one mistake or misinterpret something. So I'm always happy to speak to you guys. Awesome. All right then, guys. I'm going to jump off. Grab a drink of water, and hit the hay for another day of crazy meetings and calls and global discussions. I'm going to be in quarantine for the next couple of days, so you guys pretty much have my undivided attention. It's been very crazy for me personally, obviously migrating from Vietnam over to Indonesia. But yeah, luckily just in time for launch, everything is 100% clear, and we've got a solid path. So thanks again, guys. Really, really appreciate it, and I look forward to the next call. We'll probably have one before the launch, I think. When I get the smart contract details, I'll post them up so you guys can go review the smart contract so you can see it for yourselves. And then we'll probably have another call before the platform goes live. I'll give you guys a chance to sign up and let me know what you think, get some candid feedback. Yeah. Hello? Sorry, I don't know if I've broke up. Sure. I'll double check if that's okay with the legal team. So one of the reasons that I'm very well, obviously with regulatory reasons, but one of the things that I'm careful about is if a message comes, from me, it's obviously a bit more. There's obviously a bit more kind of concern, I guess. Maybe not concern, cautiousness, I should say. That's the only reason. I just err on the side of caution. I told you guys before, I don't gamble. I've never played a casino game in a casino. I don't even play the lottery or scratch cards or anything. So I always err on the side of caution. And I think, to be honest, that's probably a good trait to have when you're dealing with millions of user funds. But if I post it in the in the group, and then you guys share it, there's not really, I can ask you guys not to share it, but I'm not really the one responsible for distributing. Yeah, exactly. So that's the only reason why I'm kind of erring on the side of caution of what I deliberately release. But everything's on schedule. End of June is when we're going to be pushing everything out. I'll probably give you guys a heads up in the group. You guys can play with the product, see what you think. Maybe you can deposit if you want to. Chuck $10 on there, see what you think. See how everything goes smoothly. And then, yeah, look forward to hearing your feedback. Someone did speak up before, so I just wanted to ask if they're still around, because I actually dropped connection. So whoever was asking a question, if you want to jump in now. Gotcha. Yeah, we'll probably the Vemanti Twitter account will probably be more active post launch. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Or maybe we lost the other guy. All right then, bud. If anyone's got any questions, feel free. Tag me in Telegram group. We'll probably have another call in a few days before launch. I'm going to jump off. It's pretty late.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Just a quick question. Would you like me to leave this chat up and running so you guys can continue the voice call without me? Or should I just turn it off? There's a bit of a dispute.
Yeah, you can leave it open. You can leave it open. That'd be great.
All right, I'll leave it open. If anyone starts spreading some like ISIS messages or starts sharing some illicit content or anything, I'm sure we'll hear about it. But
Hey,
feel free
Warren,
to have a discussion. Yeah, yeah.
Just
Sorry,
do
bud.
some research on the vaccine, man. I don't think it's good. All right, just please don't get the just wait a little while before you get it.
I don't have. I mean, only personally. This is my personal opinion. This does not reflect anything. I'm not getting the vaccine. I'm going to wait a couple of years before. That's just. I mean, I have other vaccines. You know, that's not a problem. I get the dengue fever and yellow fever and whatever it's called.
Yeah, I just want you to stay alive, man. You're a big part of the team.
Yeah, feel free to have a discussion on you know, if anyone else is getting the vaccine or anything in the group. But I'm going to jump off now, but I'll leave the chat up and running if you guys want to have a quick chat.
Take care. Bye-bye.